we have a client with us today.
Great selection of girls.
You have a family, don't you?
I never really grew up out of it. I have a work phone and a personal phone.
Your wife actually had called us. Do you think that there's anything wrong?
Not really. Most men can play up and mean nothing, and for a woman it's usually because they're not getting something at home. You're doing what you want. You kind of got that rock star lifestyle.
Wow, I feel good. I knew that I would now.
Welcome back to another episode of the Spicy Waitress Diaries. I'm your host Tia, and this is Opal. We have a special episode that we're doing. We have a client with us today. Say hello, Nick.
Hello.
Nick, you've got a bit of a story to you. You've been booking girls for quite a while with us. Do you want to tell us a bit of your story and like how you book girls, what you've been doing, and let's give us a background?
Yeah, so how we know each other, love envy, love the women you've got there, great selection of girls. I see some of them at the club. We started booking and then talk to you now on the phone. And
yeah, so I think we've been booking with you for a year now. You are quite a big spender.
I get that a lot.
How much do you think you've spent? Just like not just including us, but everyone like over the last year?
So I've spent about easily 100, 150K on strippers in that life in the past year, I'd say for sure. Might sound like a lot, but one of them said, put a bit of money in Bitcoin, a few other ones, they're going to go up. And it was just just before Donald Trump got elected. Yeah. So I don't know if you saw, but it had a big pump after he got elected and had a fair bit of money in there. So
you have a family, don't you?
That's a tricky one. I do, but me and my ex-wife, we are, obviously we're not together anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't seen the kids in a while now. I think it's been at least 8 months.
Why is that? Because of your spending habits?
Yeah, well, definitely plays a part in it, I'd say. Growing up, like me and the boys, we always used to go to the strip clubs, you get on the bags, spend a lot of money on women, and, we all grew up, but I never really grew up out of it. I always had that, like, inner child. And then from there, life went on, ended up getting a missus, we had kids together, but I never really grew out of those old habits, and they kind of followed me. And, as I said before, spent a lot of money on, women and drugs over the last year and a half, and a lot more previously from that. But
booking girls and stuff, that's fine if that's what you're into as a man. Like, we're not obliged, but if you're comfortable with it, would you tell us? And obviously everything stays anonymous. What actually went wrong?
Yeah, I can. My wife's already found out most of it, so she'll probably, hopefully she doesn't listen, because I'm sure she'll find the breadcrumb trail, but, as long as it's going to be anonymous, and we're sure, okay, yeah. Obviously booking girls and stuff like that, and it is what it is. Everyone's got a, dirty little secret, and I admired it, but, where it kind of went wrong is, started seeing the girls at clubs more and, making it a bit more personal and spending more time with them. Ended up lying to my wife about having later nights at work, but really I was just, out at the strip club blowing money and all that type of stuff. And, I guess where it all happened was, I usually get pretty drunk there, it's the vibe. You got the hot girls around you, trying to have a good time, stuff like that. And yeah, I have a work phone and a personal phone. And I guess the part that really I fucked up was I was drunk and my personal phone, my work phone was dead. And I have 2 Subaru cats. So, obviously if I'm leaving the strip club, I book it on my work phone, so it's under, like a different email, name and stuff like that. That night, I ended up using my personal phone, I was drunk, like anyone would. I just didn't think about it, ended up getting home, but, obviously I didn't think anything of it. Time went on, but little did I know that we have obviously, shared items at home, like iPads and computers and stuff like that. And the receipt from Uber got emailed to our personal email, which is on our shared iPad. And then, when you see, thank you for your trip at like 2:30 in the morning, and it starts to raise questions.
Yeah.
And then, so, she did a bit of digging and realized that, saw like a lot of cash withdrawals from, my fake account, which it was separate, but obviously, if my phone is lying around, she did have my password, so she's going into that, and dug a bit deeper, and then, one thing led to another, and, ended up just being honest and said, I'd slept with a couple of the girls, and yeah, like obviously all that, it was all coming out anyway, so.
You told her everything. Your wife actually had called us.
Really?
Yeah. I have to keep it all confidential when a client, I can't do anything like a client has trusted us. I said to her, sorry, I can't give out that information, but she had seen the bank transfer and found our company, and that's how she knew to call us. So she never mentioned any of that to you?
No, I mean, no, she didn't really say anything. She probably had enough. Yeah, no, she didn't really mention any of that. I guess, there was enough receipts and things everywhere, and there was a bit of a trial, so.
So once you found the first one, it all started unraveling.
Like I said, she didn't really mention much about it, till like a couple of weeks later, obviously, in the span from when I put till the day that, she brought up in conversation. Obviously, she's, gone through my accounts. Because, like I said, I was pretty good about it, it's been happening for a while, so.
Pretty good about it?
Well, I mean, he's, hiding him pretty well.
Do you think that there's anything wrong with anything that's happened?
Not really. I feel like men do things instinctively, not really based on emotion, more just pleasure. So, if it was a woman doing it, I'd say it's a bit worse. But I guess if you look at it, women prefer, more emotional attachments and things of a sort like that. So, we're men, we're based on pleasure, So even look at the animal kingdom. Well, no, it was more like a figurative example. Like I guess the animal world, the standard life, most men can play up and mean nothing. And for a woman, it's usually because they're not getting something at home. But some men, play up and they could be getting everything at home, but it's more just desire. And I guess that's just, how we're wired.
Actually, we do know how you're wired. We love you as a client. Also concerned a little bit for you. What's your situation like now? Are you okay? Are you...
I did a bit of internal looking, once a lot of things happen left, I guess. Yeah. And look, you kind of go, well, we know what the fuck's going on. I know, but it took me a while to get to this stage. I've been doing this stuff for years now. It's been I wouldn't say addiction, deep hobby. So yeah, did a bit of internal looking, and as you do when something like this happens, you kind of go, well, have I made the right choices and things like that? And I've been a big kid growing up, so I've always had like an inner child, and shit went south. Made some money from crypto, so I said, fuck it. I went to Thailand, and I just did the
Standard white man thing.
Went over there and just
You fell in love?
so, you think you did.
Not saying anything about, different cultures and blah, 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 but I'm sure you would like to build a family or get back your family.
Yeah, well, when I was over there, you're in it and you go, this is awesome. You're doing what you want. You kind of got that rock star lifestyle, but, it's pretty short lived. It was only, I would say, 3-4 weeks in it, and then, getting drunk and doing all this dumb shit and, all the other shit you do in Thailand, right? And then I was kind of just like, what the fuck am I doing?
You had a moment?
Yeah, I was like, I'm 34 years old. I've just potentially, I'd say, lost my, wife and kids, and for what? For this life that I just didn't want to grow up out of. It was a tough time, but I've learned something that I want to move on from, and particularly not, involve myself with as much, maybe here and there. We go to the strip club a little bit,
Are you still going to strip club?
Sometimes, but not as often.
That's good. Yeah, does she haven't booked as much?
Yeah, it's I've been trying to save a bit as well.
We're happy for you. Yeah, we are very happy. Thank you for coming on our podcast. Thank you for being so honest. Yeah, it's just a hard thing to be able to share your story. But yeah, we really appreciate it and hope it gives some sort of light to anyone else. All right. Well, thank you, Nick. This was a very unique episode.
I'd love to do it again, if you want to get, present the other girls here as well. Do it.
Well, please make sure you like, follow, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next episode.